I want to say good evening to Justice SN Dhingra Saab, who's a former judge of the Delhi High Court, and he's also, remember, been one of the most important coordinators in getting all these voices together. Sir, good evening and thank you for your time and thank you for speaking to us on Republic. We share your anguish, sir. First up, I want to know, when you heard this comment, what was your very first response and why did you believe it was important to raise your voice, to speak up, get all these eminent citizens together and write to the CJI, sir?
You see, I find that, it has become very common for the politicians to bash Hinduism. For vote politics, they would go to such a low level I had never imagined. This is the first time that I have heard that you are comparing an eternal Dharma. I don't call it religion because Sanatan is not a religion, it is Dharma. And you are comparing Dharma to COVID, to malaria, to dengue. I also take pity upon the person who his knowledge about, Sanatan. But whatever be his knowledge, comparing, 80 crore people's, faith with malaria, dengue, COVID, it looks if you are having sick mentality. So when I heard this, I found that this was most, filthy statement made by any person. And we must raise our voice against this kind of people and voice, because I consider that the state government will not take action. We have seen this earlier also, that the government to whom the minister belongs, or MP belongs, or MLA belongs, they are always hesitant in taking action against their own persons, whosoever may be the government, in whichever state it may be. This has been observed by many courts. So we thought it proper that let us invoke the jurisdiction of Supreme Court and tell Supreme Court that this is what is happening despite your threats, that if the government doesn't act, we will act. And this is happening day in, day out. People are out to malign the sentiments and the dharma of a large majority of people of this country. And that is why you see this anguish had come out in the form of letter of so many of us.
And sir, I just want you to push that point a little further, because I think what you have said today is in common knowledge. The fact that a lot of our politicians, a lot of our netas, who should actually be speaking for our good, for the country's good, I think for vote bank politics and a lot of other reasons best known to them, this has become a pattern, sir. This Hindu hatred seems to have become a pattern, as you also just underscored. Why do you believe that they get away with saying what they do? I don't even want to go into the many instances we've heard such comments that have been made by different political parties, sir. How do they speak with impunity? Why do they believe that they can get away with such kind of hate speech?
See, they get away because, they are protected by the politician, same politician. See, we have seen it earlier, that politicians are a block, and they may say anything in the public, but privately they are all one. They protect each other in all kinds of these kind of nonsenses, and they do not act against this. And Hindu bashing has become a common thing for most of them. Those who they want to catch vote, I don't know if this is vote catching formula and whether it will be successful or failure, they know it better. But this has become very common thing, that you bash Hindu Dharma without knowing what it stands for. See, Hindu Dharma is is something which is followed by everybody. Behave unto others as you would like to be behaved. This is the basic tenet of Hindu Dharma. And then there are 10 tenets which everybody knows. Satya, Ahimsa, Kshama, Akrodh, Vidya, Indriya Nigrah. These are the things which Hindu Dharma teaches, that you have to win yourself, behave unto others as you would like to be behaved. And the education and the tenets of Hindu Dharma are all pervasive throughout the world. And you see, this emanated from this holy land of India, Bharat, and in order to gain sympathy of some few people, few voters, you are bashing, you see, sentiments of a majority of people. I wonder at this psychology and the manner in which it is done.
I think those are some very strong words coming in from you, because you know, you've not just seen the kind of behavior of our politicians, you've come to face with the kind of excuses that we always see going out in public domain defending themselves. Now, having said that, sir, the DMK is standing with the comments that have been made by Udhayanidhi Stalin. And the other problem is that Udhayanidhi Stalin, when he's been asked a number of times that will you apologize for what you said, he said no. He said, I didn't say anything wrong. I was speaking about the Varna system, the caste system he's referring to. And the other problem is that a lot of our politicians today who want to stand with what he has said, say this is not hate speech. Now, because you are a legal luminary, sir, can you tell me whether the comment that has been made by Stalin Jr. falls in the category of hate speech or not, sir? And if yes, how exactly? What is the kind of punishment it warrants?
You see, I will take a contrary example. There are, you see, many bad things or things which are not good in all religions. Although Hinduism is not a religion, but in Hinduism culture there may be something bad. So if you say Jati Pratha is bad and we should abolish Jati Pratha, one can understand. But if you say Hinduism and Sanatan is, you are comparing with COVID, malaria, dengue, I think that shows your sick mentality and not that you. Now take the contrary example. Say some burqa or culture of having no music, having this, there are in Islam. There are many bad habits in Islam. Can somebody dare say that compare Islam with COVID, with malaria, with dengue, and say that Islam should be done away with and done because there are so many bad things? And then when he is confronted with this, he said, no, I was not talking of Islam, but I was talking of burqa, I was talking of condition of women, I was talking of restriction placed on music playing, I was talking of so and so. Can somebody say so? So this, you see, they cannot dare say all those things about other religion. But about Hindu Dharma, they feel free to abuse, free to use filthy language. So I think time has come that the entire population of this country, Hindu population at least, should rise against these kind of politicians and teach them a lesson by whatever means, by demonstrating, by showing their resolution that we will go against these kind of people, we will not tolerate these kind of people. So this rising is needed against these kind of people.
Okay. You know, we'll have to wait and see, sir, whether that actually happens. But before I let you go, I have to ask you this. The Supreme Court, not very late, in fact, I think it was in the month of April, had said that governments must and states must act against hate speech. It had said that states must lodge FIR against hate speeches even without any complaint coming forward. Now, considering that this is a case and a statement that was made in Tamil Nadu is being ruled by the DMK itself. Now, what is the way out? I mean, how will we get any closure in the case, or how will there be any kind of legal justice in the case if the state of Tamil Nadu itself and the DGP there, I mean, should we believe that the DGP there is bound to act on the advice of the Supreme Court against hate speech?
You see, that is why we have written letter to the Supreme Court. You see, we have no expectation that the state of Tamil Nadu will act against their own minister. Our DGP will act against the minister, our police will take any action, or even register an FIR, forget taking action. So, in these circumstances, it is only the Supreme Court who can give directions, appropriate directions of action. That is why we have written letter to Supreme Court that please, this is the time that you should bring rule of law. You should show that rule of law exists in this country, and you are the guardian of rule of law. That is why this letter to Supreme Court.
Oh yes, and I think these are very important words, sir, that are coming in from you, as you've gotten together like-minded people who believe that whatever has been said is completely wrong. If nothing else, the Neta should have apologized. But the Neta in question is defiant, he's digging in his heels, and Justice Dhingra believes that this is a fit case of hate speech, and they have all gotten together to appeal to the CJI to act in this case. So appreciate your time and your reading of the entire situation, and as always, it's been a pleasure, sir.